Vancouver, Canada's third largest metropolis. With a population of 2.4 million, the city is arguably one of the most multicultural cities in the world. With 43% of Metro Vancouver residents having some sort of connection with Asian heritage, you can just imagine how exciting the food must be. Asian fusion food is typically described as a cuisine from two different cultures brought together to either create a spin on an existing dish or creating a new dish altogether. Think of everything you know about fusion food: ramen burgers, orange chicken, or basically any kind of American pizza. Now forget all those, because that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about real fusion food. Meet Hidekazu Tojo. He's a founder and owner of Tojo's Restaurant, a local gem renowned for its role in establishing Japanese food as a staple cuisine in Vancouver. Tojo would know a thing or two about introducing foreign dishes to Canada. He did, after all, invent the world-famous California roll.
And I did this inside out because this is a very breaking the tradition. I'm very silent. Then people come, oh, this is a good idea, good idea. People come from all over. This maybe they copy to me my idea. This is because very success. Vancouver, Los Angeles, big population, Japan, Japanese population. They use inside out. They put avocado. So that's why California.
Originally from Osaka, Japan, Tojo trained as a traditional sushi chef. When he opened his own restaurant, he diverted from the traditional Japanese way and took matters into his own hands.
So look at that, Tojo. We don't put the Tojo Japanese restaurant, no Tojo sushi. So if I put the Tojo Japanese restaurant, I must be very Japanese way. So I put the Tojo means very open. So I can use best ingredients, any doesn't matter where they come from. But I want to my way. This way is better to eat.
He invented many non-traditional Japanese dishes that many actually consider to be authentic today. The California roll, the BC roll, which uses barbecued salmon skin, and any modern Japanese-style dish that uses mayonnaise. Greg Edwards is a co-founder of Bao Down and Bao Down Gastropub in Raw Bar. What first started as a grab-and-go location in Vancouver's historic Gastown has already opened its second, much larger and more extensive full-service restaurant with a raw bar.
Me and my partner Matt, we found a gap here in Vancouver. And we travel a lot, we eat a lot, we like food. And then when we were here, we moved back from Toronto and we came here and then found out there was no Baos here. So then we decided to open up a Bao shop. Yeah.
At first glance, you might think it's just another fusion restaurant, but looking at the effort they go into getting the most authentic and accurate flavors will make you think again.
So in all my travels, I'll always pick everything up that I can. I go to markets. I'll go into restaurants, little places or carts, and just try and get them to show me what they're doing. Yeah. I have so many suppliers. I believe in a lot of backups. I also have stuff flown in fresh twice a week from Thailand.
Brandon Grossuti, the general manager of Pidgin, was not only inspired by the Pidgin language used for trade, which explains the location between North and East Vancouver, but also had the idea of collaborating two different cultures into one through food.
So the name is Pidgin, which basically is a language. So Pidgin language means two languages coming together to form a new language. And this kind of plays into a lot what I think we're talking about today with fusion is, Pidgin is two disparate languages coming together to create something new. And I try to think that that's what we do from our perspective in the restaurant. We take flavors, ingredients, techniques from different cultures, but we don't necessarily force them together like a fusion. We try to put them together as something new, something that no one's ever tasted before, and create an experience that's something so different.
A wide variety of chefs from different cultures working in the kitchen allows them to experiment with food using different ingredients that are available locally to revamp their menu seasonally.
So, we've got a kid that works with us from Melbourne. We've got a kid from Taiwan, Japanese. We've had Spanish through the kitchen. It's generally just this culture that comes together and how these guys play with different ingredients. And it's like, oh, I do this in my country and I do this kind of style. And it also comes out of like our travels and what we like to eat. And it's like, oh, that's great, but it could use this technique to really elevate that dish. Or, a perfect example is one that we got right now where it's like a Korean rice cake that almost mimics a gnocchi, but it's not. And it has like a bolognese, but it's not because it's got Korean gochujang in it. And, just like different mixes that make things that, and then rather than finishing with butter or oil, you're finishing with like a silken tofu. It's basically just taking those things and making them very different and more interesting.
So why aren't these fusion food, you ask?
I think Asian fusion is trying to generally, and I don't like to mess with this in any way, shape, or form, or poo-poo on people that define themselves as that. I think generally speaking, when you're talking about fusion, it's a forced mix of cultures. It's a forced mix of stuff put together that doesn't necessarily work all that well together. There isn't synergy or a let's call it a balance, a harmonious balance of technique and ingredient and culture. And so fusion it just seems like trying to stuff these things together and say, oh, this just makes a lot of sense to put pasta together with sushi, or like it's forced in a weird way.
I try and make it more approachable for sure. Like by doing like an all-time favorite of people, fried chicken, and then introducing it into an Asian format and adding some Asian touches to it. Like people don't find it so mysterious.
People looking for good quality food. Doesn't matter if it's Japanese food or Canadian food. No one category. I like to more open food.
What are we? So I have to say Japanese, Korean, French, Canadian, and these are the screwed up things about the boxes that you try to hit. So when we try to describe what we are, it is a struggle. And so I would say that we are Vancouver. We are this mix of these cultures. We are this thing.
We are talking about the type of food that actually comes from an ethnically diverse environment instead of a poor imitation of its traditional counterpart. The type of food we might as well call the Vancouverite cuisine.